This is one of our standard finishes, and it's called sun-dried tomato, and from here up is how it actually looks. It has crackle, sand through, black paint underneath, black glaze wiped over. To get there, you have to go from the raw wood to the finished product. It's an 11-step finish.
This handcrafted approach to cabinet finishing may be time-consuming, but in the end, this unique, one-of-a-kind product is well worth the effort. This is great to see, because I don't think a lot of clients, when they see the end product, they really don't understand what goes into it.
They see the end product, they appreciate it, but if they had to do it themselves, they wouldn't have the patience. Right now she's covering it, covering all the surface area with the glaze.
The finishing of a large job may take up to a week to complete. That's 8 hours a day of meticulous brushstrokes in order to achieve the desired finish.
Everybody uses custom anymore, so it's really almost a misnomer. But the question comes down to the quality of the construction and the details that are offered, as well as the flexibility to have custom sizes or hand carving, paint finish with gold leafing, or a special glaze treatment or a special color to match something else that they have.
Hey Phil, can we go see your special finishing department?
Sure.
Wow, there are a lot of colors here. Each one of these represents a new and special project.
It's a custom finish. They needed to tweak it. It was too red, too dark, it was too light, the glazing's not heavy enough. They want more distressing, they want less distressing.
I can assume that someday when Johnny damages the door and they need to have the door replaced or fixed, you guys can go back to the archive, pull that color, and know exactly what the color formula was?
You have to take into account aging and the wood species, direct sunlight. In most cases, we will ask the customer to take a piece out of their kitchen, take off a drawer front or door, and send it back so that we can take the aging into account.
Look, but don't touch.
This is one of our standard finishes called bay leaf.
I like that. Maybe Judy would like that color.
And now we're walking into the quality control department.
Okay.
Every job before it's shipped is set up as per the layout. Check it that all the finished ends are there, that all the interior accessories are installed, that the cabinets are square, that the gaps on the inside doors are consistent, that the drawers function properly. Yeah, we take pride in it.
Especially like that, that's gorgeous. I don't hear that annoying clicking sound when the door shuts.
If you could see, there's a magnet on the bottom of the door, which when you close the door will line up exactly with that magnet and hold the door shut, even though these magnets aren't touching. On the old style magnet, you pull, you're going to release one magnet before the other, and the whole door is going to shake, and it's going to rattle. And you don't have that with this.
That's a great detail.
Our standard drawer box is a 3/4 inch hardwood with a 1/2 inch bottom, utilizing hand dovetails.
You do a great job sanding and actually finishing this dovetail. It's something you do here rather than it being prefab somewhere else and then assembled in a shop.
We route over the top edge of the drawer box so that you have no harsh edges. All of our drawers, all of our pullouts use what is called full extension, undermount, soft closing slides. You can't expect everybody to very gingerly close your drawer and not slam it. So the real world is you're going to go like this.
That's nice.
Notice the drawer stopped dead in its tracks and was pulled closed by the slide.
There are multiple steps necessary in order to complete a cabinet door.
The first thing we have to do is plane it. And there's cutters in this machine that put the decorative edge to it, which is called a framing bead. This is a door panel that's been glued together, has gone through the machines to create the decorative treatment. Once you press this door together, there's no way to properly get into the panel raised area to have it properly sanded. Before we put the doors together, Brian sands the raise of the panel. If the door is square, the measurement will be the same. If it's out of square at all, the measurement will be different. These are some of the different molding types that we would apply to a door. We have a machine that drills and puts in these little bow ties to hold it together.
First off, I have to match the grain, the color, and the specs for it, and make sure there's not too much of cathedral, depending on what the customer wants. So some stuff can't be used, like this side is white, this side is all red, won't be able to get used. Some customers like the cathedral, some like the straight, so we have to match that up, decide what's good and what's not. Some customers like the cathedral grain, there's more character to it. Then there are some that want a straight grain, but with this order, it doesn't matter because the color is real dark, so you won't see most of it. Everything's good to go in here except for the white. This one, there's a lot of white in it that won't be used because it'll bleed through the color and it won't stand out right. This one, it can be used for framing because it's thin, and you will never see the back of that, so some panels will get stuck to the wall and never come off.
The area we're in now is our door department. This is where we make the doors and the drawer fronts. Everything is hand selected, and the wood doesn't come in pieces wide enough to make a single door. Is not one piece of wood. It's a number of pieces of wood that are glued together. There's a center panel, and then there's 5 straight pieces to create a frame around each door. So there's one process for gluing the panels together, and there's another process for creating the pieces of the door frame, which are called the rails and the stile. But before we can start either one of those processes, the wood that we buy is kiln dried and rough hewn. So now we have to prepare the wood so that we can start using it to create the door. The first thing we have to do is plane it. Straight line saw. It cuts the boards into perfectly straight pieces that can be glued together to create the panels, which is what we're doing over here. In order to create the panel for the door itself, they're cutting to specific sizes based on the door style and the size of the doors and stuff like that. They take the individual boards and glue them together. They press them together, and as you can see, when you glue them together, it's a little bit uneven. There's a little bit of glue that runs over. All of our wood is thicker than the final spec. As we make it and machine it, we keep sanding it down and bringing it down so that the end product will be to the exact thickness that it needs to be, which is either 3/4 of an inch or an inch for the door panels. The door is made of a frame, 4 pieces, and a center panel. The panels are what we saw the boards glued together for. The outside frame, the horizontal pieces are called rails and the vertical pieces are called stiles. Those pieces, depending on the door style, are a certain size, like 2 3/8 is our standard size. This is our elite framing bead, which is what this decorative edge is called. And then we also go through the process of doing the machining for the joinery, which is mortise and tenon, male and female. it's square. And there's cutters in this machine that put the decorative edge to it. Here it's square, and after it comes out of this machine, it puts this decorative treatment on, which is called a framing bead. Notice the difference in the surface before he does it and after he does it. This is a door panel that's been glued together, has gone through the machines to create the decorative treatment. Now this happens to be a paint grade job. That's why you're going to see variances in the color. The dark versus the light, it doesn't matter. That's why there's no charge for the paint grade wood. Once you press this door together to create the complete door, there's no way to properly get into the panel raised area to have it properly sanded. Before we put the doors together, Brian sands the rays of the panel. Because without proper sanding, the finish won't be as good as it can be. Anyone that could press one door together so he can see the process. Can you press a door together so we can film it? This table is a downdraft table. So the dust that he's creating by sanding is being sucked into all the holes and then goes through a pipe into the dust collection system to help try to control the dirt and the dust. This machine is called a shaper. If it's a frameless cabinet where the door sits on the front of the cabinet, you have to put a decorative lip on the door. All right, so it's square, and it's going to come out like that. Gotcha. Okay. They're rough, they're oversized. They go through this wide belt sander. And brings it down so that it's exactly the thickness that it's supposed to be. Okay, this is a mullion door. Obviously, mullion doors are more expensive than non-mullion doors because there's a lot more labor involved. You have to create all these pieces and join them. Our standard mullion door has one piece of glass. And then these pieces are put together with what are called buttons. Then you put the piece of glass in, then we make a wooden molding that gets set all the way around to hold the glass into place. For the traditionalists, they want true divided light mullions, which means each opening has its own piece of glass divided by wood. That's called a true divided light mullion. Be much more involved. This door would be for paint, but you see the framing bead here. A door that has a decorative mullion, this framing bead would be square, and then there'd be a piece of molding sitting on top with a miter joint going all the way around. And I'd like to show you how we do that. You can see the difference between a machine door and a door with the actual molding. This molding is cut to the specific size, has the bow tie joints in it. You can see that this is a square framing bead. This literally sits inside the opening. This would be a 5-piece drawer front that you're actually looking at. Notice how he takes his time through the cut so that it's a clean cut without splintering and cracking.
Our finished side of our cabinet. Right now I'm starting with a plain piece of plywood. I'm going to add holes for our toe board, our floors, our shelf holes, and our backsplash. This is going to be the finished side of our cabinet. I'm going to add holes for the toe board, shelf holes, top and bottom, and the backsplash.
You can do it all in one machine in about 40 seconds instead of about 15 minutes.
These are the dowel holes for the toe board that's going to be added. The bottom, the 3 stretchers, our adjustable shelf, and our backsplash.
Okay, you can lift it up now, Greg.
Okay, this one last piece here. This would be top. One side. Actually, I need the other one. This side. Lay it on top first. You gotta make sure it gets sufficient amount of glue. And fit this piece. The mount out, make sure she's in there good. And then over lunchtime, want some more clamps on there, tighten it up, let it sit, let the glue dry, and like I said, I'm not far from being done. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 partitions to put in and shelves in this. Put the frame on. That one is European, so don't. The cabinets also have this slot in both the ends and the front. And this, along with biscuits and glue, slides in.
Biscuit joint.
Yes. But these are a little bit different than a biscuit, but they act as the same thing. Do you want me to put a cabinet together?
that? Oh yeah, on the far side of the front.